Oh, there you are. I didn't see you. No, just kidding. A friend of mine opens up like that. Oh, didn't see you there. Welcome. A friend of mine talks like that. Welcome. Didn't see you there. Oh, I just wanted to say that. A friend of mine starts off like that. Got a great show for you tonight on this December 25th, I think it is. I'm not for certain. Haven't looked at a calendar in a minute. Been off work with a little foot thing going on. We hope to get back tonight, maybe tomorrow night. They might be closed tonight for some reason, and next week, coincidentally, in 7 more days they'll be closed again. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But welcome to what do we got? 80, 38, 36, 38. 38 years between the Ten Commandments. Did you ever think about that? How long in between the Ten Commandments? How long between the first set of the tablets uh, until the second set of tablets? I mean, it's got to be at least a minute, because it seems to me we're reading Exodus where what is it? Exodus 25, after the blood covenant and the marriage supper. He goes at the marriage supper. He's with the 70 elders and Aaron, I think Joshua, and he goes with them for 7 days, and he's in the cloud like for 7 days, but then for a total of 40 days he's in like the furnace of that. They had gone back down, and he was up there getting additional commands, and it was how to build the tabernacle and how to anoint the priesthood. There's no sacrificial system yet. There were sacrifices in this description on how to cleanse the temple, how to anoint the priests, anoint the temple, and the laver, the altars. Um, and then he comes down, and there's a golden calf. So he smashes the first set of tablets at the golden calf. How long was it till the second tablets? Well, if you think immediately, he would have to have come down with the second set of tablets. Well, you'd have to chisel them out. Okay, it takes a day. What? He chisels them out, goes back up, and comes back down with a shining face and puts the new set of the two tablets in the ark that he's just about ready to tell the people how to build it. He just heard how to build it, comes down to a golden calf, breaks the commandments, goes back up, gets the second set, and puts them in an ark that isn't built yet. Oh, well, in Numbers we see. Well, is it I think it's the end of Exodus. We see in the first month of the second year. So that's like literally 365 days later than their exit. It's not 2 years later. It's the 1 year anniversary. They're going to start their second year on the first day of Aviv. What the heck did they do? They set the tabernacle up by command. Throughout all that time, we get a history of Moses telling them, go give a free will offering of gold, silver, brass, rugs, thread, gold work. That's where gold is in the thread, and then then the thread makes material. Yeah, they do that to this day. Gold work, it's called. He told them he wanted a free will offering of that. Um, and then how to anoint the priests and such. Uh, and then is given 2 tablets of stone and says, "Go get thee down." Those people they've already gone against the covenant. It's a, it's a, they've made a golden calf. Get thee down. So he goes down. He sees the golden calf, breaks the 2 tablets. Right? Isn't this how we do this? Let's go check it out. In Exodus 32. Let's try Exodus 32. I won't I won't sus we won't make this very suspenseful. We'll just straight up go to Exodus 32. Is that Exodus? Is that Old Testament or New Testament? All right, Exodus 32. Oh, yeah, at the end of Exodus 32. And let's go with Exodus 32:31. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, "Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written." And the Lord said unto Moses, "Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. Therefore now go, lead the people." Oh, I like this from the Polar Express. Therefore now, therefore now go, lead the people unto the place of which, yeah, Lead, led. No, it's lead. Okay, so what do we got? Chapter 32, verse 34. Again, therefore now go, lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel, Michael, sorry, Emmanuel, shall go before thee. I mean, no, seriously though, if this is Jesus talking, telling Moses to go, why is he going to say mine angel if he's, okay, whatever. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sin upon them. But the Lord plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made. Okay, so now let me go over that verse 34 again, because I said led, remember? So that now you're going to remember it. So this is chapter 32, verse 34 again. Therefore now go, lead the people unto the place of which I told you. And then look how chapter 33 starts out. And the Lord said unto Moses, Depart, and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt. Why is he doubling down on that? It's because there's a breaking point. At that point right there, Exodus 33, this is 38 years later. Yeah. What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. If you just read it, you would think you would think everything was okay, but we're looking at it like, let's read it chronologically. He goes up, and the part that I just read, he's going back up there. And God is saying, "Go, get thee down, lead the people." And then chapter 33 starts, "Depart and shake the people," or whatever. And this is if you were to continue reading, we would only have him departing, getting ready to depart, and then getting worried. Hey, he asked the Lord, you know, unless you go with us, you know, we don't, how are you going to separate us? You're going to show us separate from the world. You've got to come with us. And this is when Moses, God says, "Well, surely I will go with you." But Moses doesn't really believe it. He's like, "Well, yeah, if you don't, you know." And so Moses, this is when he says, "Show me your glory." And he says, "Okay, I'll put you in a cleft of a rock, and as I walk by, I'll put my hand over your face, and as I walk by, you can see my back parts." And we got a cool painting by Michelangelo on the Sistine Chapel ceiling of what that may look like. So yes, excuse me. So he goes up there and does the cleft in the rock thing, and then he brings up the tablets. He says, bring up for confirmation. So why is he telling them to lead the people when he doesn't have the second set of 10 yet? He's saying, lead the people, doesn't have the second set. Moses says, oh, okay, I don't like it. We need, you go with me, otherwise blot my name out. God says, I will surely go with you. And Moses says, yeah, if not, don't even try or don't even send me. And he says, show me your glory. And he says, okay, hew out 2 new tables and come on up. So he hews out 2 new tables and goes on up there. And then he says, I'll put you in the cleft of the rock. And he does that and writes the same 10 commandments. He writes the exact same 10 commandments on these stones that Moses had chiseled out. This is indicative of bring your own stony hearts and circumcise it and bring your heart tablets to the Lord, begging for mercy and forgiveness. So he comes down and puts them in the ark that isn't made yet. Either way, you're running into a chronological problem here. And if you don't think it was written chronologically, then you don't know what Pentecost is. The first Pentecost being when the 10 Commandments were shouted down, because it was 50 days later. And we know this by chronology. In the 46 days after coming out of the land of Egypt, God calls unto Moses, says, get the people ready against the 3rd day. And then that's 49. 50th day, he's shouting down the commandments. The 50th day coming out of Egypt. So that's the first Pentecost. But so when did he build this tabernacle? We've got the entire book of Leviticus. That's for the Levites. That's got to be after the golden calf. But Deuteronomy, that is such a fascinating book. That you read the first 4 verses, Deuteronomy. My goodness. Where's Moses? Anybody that studied their Bible, go read the first 4 verses of Deuteronomy real quick, and come back and tell me where he is. Where is Moses? Somebody, Orthodox Jew, you got an Orthodox Jew listening, knows their Deuteronomy inside and out. Where is Moses? After reading the first 4 verses, where is he? Gives 3 different locations on this brother. He's not crossed the Jordan yet. No, but he's down south by the Red Sea. Then he's up north by just east of Jericho in Moab. Jericho's just a mile and a half northeast of Jerusalem. Excuse me, not, Highway 1. You take Highway 1. It's northeast to Jericho, and then directly east, you can see the Jordan, so to speak. Across there, that's Moab. That's like the northern tip of Moab, I believe, because after that, isn't that the brook Zered? After that is where Og and Sihon, king of Bashan, isn't that where they were? Anyway, regardless, so it seems like in Exodus, there's a parenthetical, a parentheses, a part in the book where it is a flashback essentially, or a flash forward, and we see a lot of that in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is easy, like, oh, and here's Moses 40 years later talking to the people, saying, hey, remember way back in the day at Mount Horeb when he shouted down these 10 commands? And it's clear he's talking about a past event and such, but there's also hidden things in there, such as this Exodus, that all of a sudden, in fact, it doesn't say testimony. When he's up there getting the very first, after the marriage festival, when Moses is up there, this is still early on, before the first tablets, He's going to get the tablets at the end of this. They're given a description on how to build the temple, the tabernacle, the wilderness tabernacle, and how to anoint the priests and such. God gives him the tablets. He says they've already sinned, and says, "Stand back, Moses, while I wipe them out as one man, blot their name out from under heaven, and start over with you." Okay, I don't know if you think that's experiential, positional, or qualitative, or ultimately, or whatever you think that he's talking about there, but it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's the death penalty. And this is where grace comes in. Everybody's saved by grace, yes. You're all rewarded by works. Some rewards are the lake of fire. But as far as grace, everybody's saved by grace because every last Israelite of the seed of Abraham was condemned to death at the calf. Stand back, Moses. Let me wipe them out as one man. Blot their name out from under heaven. Start over with you. Start over with you to continue the promise of Abraham. No, that did not happen. He set up. He added the law for that transgression. That's why he added the law was added to the covenant. You can say the law is the covenant because it's the only covenant they have. It has an added law to it. The first covenant was dust. In fact, it's called a testament. In fact, it's called a testimony in the Old Testament and a testament in the New Testament. Oh, where is it called a testament? Oh, I've seen so many discussions on law, covenant, oath. Where's this testament? Yeah, you'd be paying attention. I think it's in the book of Hebrews. Paul, he's talking about covenant this and law that, and covenant this and law that. But it's this. And well, maybe it's the book of Romans. It would have to be Romans because no, Hebrews are actually Hebrews. So it's probably Hebrews. No. Anyway, he's back and forth on covenant and law, and they're interchangeable. You won't see this in Galatians. Galatians were pagans. Okay, the Hebrews are Hebrew. The book of Romans, these guys are the Pharisees of Pharisees, Jew. So it's one of these two books where the audience is actually Jewish. So he's talking to them about the law interchangeably with the covenant. In fact, he specifically names, if he doesn't say law, he's naming 7 different laws in his letters. We see 7 different: the law of sin and death, the law of liberty, the law of Christ, the law of Moses. Well, maybe, I don't know. It kind of sounds funky. It's always been the law of God, but Moses added the law. I mean, and he wrote it down and said, so they could be that, and that could be common stuff. But we're looking at Paul talking about covenant law. Now we're ignoring the book of Galatians for just now. Okay, because that's going to speak about works of the law. That's circumcision. And if you're talking to an audience that's older than 8 days old about circumcision for your salvation, you might want to run away. I'm just saying, they're going to hurt you now a woman can hurt you in the heart, okay, but these guys could hurt your soul. If you think that you need circumcision for salvation, yeah, exactly. We all think that. That's for Galatians. But as far as the one, Paul's speaking about covenant law, it's always the same thing. The post, golden calf, covenant plus law, plus statutes, all that. But what's the covenant law, statutes, and stuff that we want to get back into covenant with? That's the one just prior to the golden calf. The exact same stuff Moses wrote down. He wrote down the 10 because they were shouted down. He wrote those down in Exodus 24:8. They were shouted down in Exodus 20. But it was too loud for the people, and they said, "Oh, we don't want to hear from from God like that again." And hence Jesus is first begotten of the Father. Oh, did I say first? Oh, I thought he was only begotten. Wow. Oh, all right. But the first begotten of the Father, given the commands, the first begotten of the Father, Moses. Regardless, the the punchline is Paul on the covenant, Paul on the law, Paul on the covenant law, covenant, law. He finally, in a chiastic structure of, I forget which one in Romans, he says testament, like prior to the golden calf, the ark of the testimony. Build the ark of the testimony like this. Okay? After the golden calf, all of a sudden it's the ark of the covenant. Regardless, so Paul describes it, and it has a chiastic structure that ends at the word testament. And this, yes, if you break a covenant, a blood covenant, excuse me, it has to be a blood covenant, because the blood represents death of the offender. The guy, we're in covenant with the landlord, we don't pay our rent, it's the death penalty. That's why we don't get in blood covenants with our landlord. So a blood covenant, yes, these guys were in blood covenant, the blood signifying the death of the offender. Don't break it. Don't break this covenant. You'll be dead just like these bulls. This bull blood represents, and this is before the sacrificial system is set up, the Levitical priesthood is the tabernacle, what the tabernacle is going to look like, anything about it, even tabernacle, anything. This is the original blood covenant written down by Moses, the blood of bulls sprinkled on that written down contract, the blood of bulls sprinkled on 1 million people with water and hyssop per Paul. It says blood in Exodus, but Paul says it describes water and blood. And what came out of Jesus's side? Water and blood. Oh, and hyssop was present. Oh, yeah. Now we're putting 2 and 2 together. We're seeing what this blood covenant is. It's the original testimony. It's a testimony now because it's dead. They broke it. He busted it into pieces. Moses busted it into pieces. But guess what? He was told to put it in the ark of the testimony. That's right. There's 2 10 Commandments, 2 sets, 2 pairs, there's a pair of pairs. One's dust, like in Indiana Jones, but one set was solid that Ron Wyatt set up on a shelf underneath a bus station. Talk about meek. Oh, we don't want to hear from you, God. You're a little bit loud here at Mount Sinai. We're going to bury you under a bus station for 3,000 years. We're going to bury you under a skull. We're going to put you in Skull Mountain. Oh, the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew at Skull Mountain. They discovered Ron Wyatt's hat, Benny Goodman's corset and pen. No, we're just teasing. All right, where's the discerners? Or does everybody just know that there was 38 years between the 10 commandments and the 10 commandments? Nobody disagrees. Nobody wants to bring it up. Hey, I got a little scripture here, Mike. Oh, by the way, I'm Mike. It goes by none of your biz here on the YouTube, come on aboard. We'll take a minute here to let you try to sign on to StreamYard. Good gracious. Let me get some music while y'all are waiting. I be long way. Oh, sorry about that. Long way from here. Put on a poncho, played for mosquitoes, and drank till I was thirsty again. Yeah, I could probably get my Bible verses out if just as a little proof of what the heck's going on. Little proof texting, just in case anybody thinks I'm making stuff up. Let me just go to Exodus here now. Is that Old Testament or New Testament? Yeah. All right, we'll give you all a little break. See if oh, good gracious alive. 26 minutes. And I got one eyeball. Chris Lucas, oh my goodness. Hey everyone. Oh, aren't you the sweetest guy in the whole wide world? My first StreamYard, my first like little comment section guy. Oh, I'll have to screenshot this. That's we got the free version. It's not going to be recorded. But yeah, don't cuss or cuss. Yeah, don't bring up anything funky. Yeah, it's my first time. Oh, by the way, Mike, you offended somebody. You can't ever do this again. No, I'm just saying, it sounds like there's 38 years between the Ten Commandments, the first set and the second set. And the first set, he got it just prior to the golden calf. And then he's told to go in Exodus, excuse me, yeah, I better not quote anything here. He's told to go, and they go to Taberah and Kibroth and Kadesh Barnea. Then at Kadesh Barnea, see the exact same thing happens. They rebel against the Lord, and he says the same thing. I mean, stand back, Moses. I'm going to wipe them out as one man. I mean, and blot their name out from under heaven. This is not Layboy Cemetery experiential death. This is every kind. This is everything death to these guys, and this is a second time. Oh my gosh. And it says they got grapes because it was the time of the grapes. So this is the fall. They had just put the tabernacle up at the 12th, at the end of the 12th month, the beginning of the first. In the second year, they had put it up. And then 6 months later, they're already in Kadesh Barnea. And then even after that, the Korah's rebellion happens after that. Oh yeah. But no, they're on the way back south again. Remember, because after Kadesh Barnea, he says, take your way, go to the wilderness by way of the Red Sea. That's back the way they came, south along the Red Sea, going on the outside of the Sinai Peninsula there. And then the next thing we see is essentially Moses going back up to get the second set of tablets. So this could have been as soon as 2 years later. But we see Aaron. We see Aaron there the whole time, the whole 38 years. Aaron, the whole book of Leviticus. Hey, talk to Aaron, talk to Moses and Aaron. Aaron's still there. And so it says immediately after, and this is a point to look in the chronology, because we see in another section that Aaron dies in the 5th month of the 40th year. So this would have been, by my 38-year recollection, this would have been right after they got the second set of 10, and they started to take off, heading up on the east side of the Jordan this time, instead of the west side of the Jordan, heading up from the south, like towards the Mediterranean part of Israel's ownership. They came up from the south through Kadesh, from Kadesh Barnea. they're going up. This time they're going up north on the east side, but that's essentially just desert. So they're going to go north and north and north until they get to just east of Jerusalem, just east of Jericho. And they do that, and then after that they go on to Syria, all the way to Lebanon. Uh, well, through Jordan, but Lebanon is up to the northwest. I'm just saying because it sounds like in 6 months they killed two giant kings, 60 cities of giants that were fenced tall and high or something. But no, if you think that, just read Exodus, he goes up to get the 10, comes down, breaks them, goes back up, gets the second set of 10, and comes back and puts them in an ark that isn't even going to be built for another year. What? Were they sitting on the shelf while he's building the ark? This shittim wood that he's got to use to make this ark of the testimony. By the way, remember Ark of the Testimony is going to be encased in gold. This is not only going to take a minute, but it's signifying the value of what he's putting inside. The whole thing is gold, and then the mercy seat on top, like a protection. A removable mercy seat, a throne. What is under the throne of the mercy seat? Let's go to Revelation. Yeah, the souls of those beheaded for whatever. But no. So this is how important it was. It's encased in gold. But regardless, look at it this way. Moses gets the 10, comes down, sees the calf, and then a year later goes up and gets a second set of 10. Doesn't that make God look kind of wishy-washy? Like, just write them down again, Moses. Only you chisel them out. I'm tired. Let's just do this again. Okay. And then I know as soon as I give them to you, you're going to go off at Taberah, where you guys lusted, and they buried the murmurers, and Kibroth-Hattaavah, where the serpents and whatever the heck's going on. It's all going to be good. Oh, and your whole face is going to be shining, by the way, while these people are failing and rebelling against you and wanting to stone Joshua and Caleb and you and Aaron. Yeah. Just let's put some things together here. These guys were sent off to Kadesh Barnea to infiltrate the Canaanite land that was rightfully theirs. And it was a year and a half after they came out of Egypt. If they had all of that going for them, they wouldn't have failed. And then again, after that was Korah's rebellion. 250 of the princes of the princes of the princes, the highest of the high. This is 250. There's 12 tribes. That's like 10 guys from each tribe. Like the highest of the high, there shouldn't even be that many high people up. But these guys, these poor guys, these poor brothers, Korah's rebellion, I don't know if you read it in detail, but when Moses is told who's going to be carrying the tabernacle, everybody else gets an ox cart and all kinds of cool things. These guys got to carry everything on their shoulder, on a stick. Put the royal colors over the 150-pound menorah. Put the royal colors when you're tearing it down. Put that over. Put badger skins on top of that, and put it on a pole. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to carry it. You know the staves for the ark, yeah, and you have to carry that by hand, right? Yeah, that's by hand. The table, the altar of incense. In fact, the altar of incense has 2 rings that go on the diagonal corners, such that if 4 men are carrying it and it has incense in it burning continuously, it won't spill. Isn't that funny? But no, the amount of gold needed to make it and such. So if we look at the end of chapter 32, God tells Moses, lead the people. This is when they go up to Kadesh Barnea, lose, and come back down. That takes however long. But once they come down, it says, and God told Moses, you've circled this mount long enough. In fact, he says, you were in Kadesh Barnea. What was it? They searched out the land for 40 days. So in the bad witness report, they were all condemned to 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. They had already done a year building the tabernacle, a half year to get to Kadesh Barnea. It was the time of the grapes. And they come back down to what? To get another 10? It didn't happen that quick. We've got Aaron. Aaron has to die in the 40th year. Moses in the 40th year. They're like 6 months apart. This is established in the other books, but how are you going to put it together? Because you want to. Why is this important? Because you want to seek it out. If you have the correct chronology, if no Jew ever has figured out the Jews say Deuteronomy was written chronologically. It looks like it was written chronologically, paper on top of paper on top of paper. I know they wrote it in scroll form back then. I'm just saying, they say it looks like this. They wrote it page after page after page chronologically, and then threw the whole thing up in the air and just picked it up randomly. I'm just saying, if you read it, it sounds like the 10 Commandments are 38 years apart. I mean, 38 years. And after that 38 years, when they get, this is what's beautiful about it. This is what's so inspiring. After they get the 38 years, they get the second set of 10. See, this is all the murmurs. All the murmurs are dead. All the people of war that complained, they're dead. After this, it took them 38 years. You were condemned to 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. Now they got a second set of 10, and Moses' face is shining. They start to head north, and a little bit later, days, Aaron dies. And then they enter into the giants, the land of the giants, the two different lands of the giants. After this, we know that they chilled at Baal Peor, and the Midianites and the Moabites got together against them with Balaam and Balak and the donkey, and 3 different locations overlooking 1 million people in the desert, 3 different locations overlooking these people to try to curse them. And God used it as a blessing instead. He says it's in the scripture, and he turned it into a blessing. And it's very interesting to read because it's a cute little story, but it's a very good example on what the prophet is going to speak only the words of the Father, whereas the donkey spoke only the words of the Father, but was still a donkey. Jesus, speaking only the words of the Father, is still going to be a separate, individual, free of choice person. And the blessings and cursings that Balaam actually describes to Balak is ridiculously accurate and haunting. Oh, well, maybe it's the other way around, Balak and Balaam. Okay, so anyway, that happens because it says when they, Baal Peor, they were with Balaam and Balak trying to curse the people. Balaam can only bless them, but Balak, the king, or whichever one of those names works out for, that king sent beautiful women to draw them away. You will never be able to curse these people, but you can draw them away with long legs. You can draw them away. Oh yeah, unless you believed for a microsecond then those legs aren't going to draw you away, and you were predetermined, and there's no way that you could ever sin. And this is where we see Phineas. It's funny, his name is, it looks like it's spelled in such a way that it looks like you should say Phineas, but it's actually pronounced Pincus. And God was livid. He wanted the heads of them burning in the sun. But Pincus went and made an atonement, literally made an atonement, a substitutionary atonement, by running through, well, I think the girl's name was Cosby. It's kind of an easy name to remember for somebody that's lusted a little bit too much, Cosby. I forget the name of the other guy, but yeah, he runs them through, kills them. So that has to happen after the kings are killed, because the Midianites and the Moabites got together and they said, "Oh, they're eating up the land." We just saw them. You know, they don't. This is not in scripture, but it's clear. They just wiped out the two giants. Remember the one giant? The one giant had 60 cities with high walls. What is it? How do I quote it? Walls high, walled up high, and defended, or something. And then many undefended, unwalled villages. And then, of course, the other king. And he does it in a matter of months. But I don't know when Moses was lifting up his arms with whoever he was fighting. I don't know the chronology of that, so I'm running into a problem with that. I quite frankly think it was early on, like before Mount Sinai, but I don't know. But there's fascinating things going on here, and I'd just like to hear anybody else's opinion on how long they think the time was between the first set of tablets and the second set of tablets that Moses chiseled out. My understanding is Yahweh, Yahweh, God, Jesus. Well, Jesus is a son. I don't want to confuse y'all, but he chiseled out the first and wrote on the first. Moses chiseled out the second, but God wrote on the second as well. And it's the same words. It's the exact same words. I don't understand this whole, we're going to write down some different words on here. Love your neighbor as yourself. No. That's the law. That's the added law. Love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, you find it in Leviticus 19, I think 19, if not Leviticus 19:18. Love your neighbor as yourself. This, if you read Leviticus 19:1 through 17, it's the 10 Commandments. Oh, love your neighbor as yourself is the new one. No. I'm just saying where you can find it in Leviticus. Leviticus was added after the golden calf. But yeah, they're going to tell us what the 10 Commandments are. But specifically that, love your neighbor as yourself, that is specifically in Leviticus. And it's added because you need to do this added law just to live. We see this over and over in Deuteronomy. Every little thing about what you need, follow these commands. I command you this day, follow these commands, do this, follow these, follow, don't fall away. So every time it's so you can live. Okay, it's not live forever after the resurrection. It's not, well, it is live here experientially on earth, because they were under the death penalty. Follow this law just to live. You're supposed to die, not because of Adam's fall, because of your fall. You saw me. You saw no similitude in Mount Sinai. You saw the thunder and the lightning, and you heard his voice. Y'all peed. You said you're going to die. Oh, we don't want to ever hear from God again like that. Now we got to look for a little meek Jesus, which everybody missed. Well, the authorities, which we didn't really, I don't know, we care about them. I'm just saying. It's just yeah. I'd like a little opinion on what how long in between the two tens, and we'll comment. I'm still asking, seeking, knocking just as much as y'all. But I think I got something written in stone here. Everything's adding up. I'm looking at this from a completely point of view that I don't care if I fail at because I'm right back to where I was anyway. Oh, it probably wasn't written in chronological order, but everything's true. What? Now it's in chronological order? Oh, I love it. Yeah, you can figure this out. Is it a salvific issue? Yeah, like Dirty Varmint would say, everything's a salvific issue. But yeah, is it a salvific issue that you think that Moses went up there one time and got 623 commands, came down, broke them? No, you are immediately going to jump to the conclusion everything in the New Testament spoken about it, and you're going to lump it together. You cannot lump it together. Paul gave us, by definition, 7 different laws. Pharisee law is another one, but that's Galatians. Galatians is the Pharisee law, adult male circumcision to be saved. Never commanded. Adult male circumcision never commanded. Only 8-day-old males. And don't bring up no Abraham and his servants got circumcised as adults. And don't bring up no Moses got circumcised as an adult. We don't see that. We see his sons who were older than 8 days old. They got circumcised. But when they're talking about the manner of Moses in your Acts 15, there's Pharisees coming saying you got to get circumcised after the manner of Moses. I don't care if it's the 8-day-old male or the manner of Moses in which they circumcised adult males. These guys are saying you need to do that for salvation. Well, no. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? What if the thief on the cross was a Greek? In fact, he probably was, because he's getting crucified on a Roman execution stake. He's probably not even Jewish. Oh yeah, what are you gonna do? Go up there and circumcise him as he's dying? Oh my God. Yeah, this just ain't sitting right with me. It's just, I'm just saying. All right, Chris, appreciate you being here. I'm just testing out the StreamYard. I don't know how to add guests. Look at, I guess that is comments. Comments. What else we got here? Comments. Banners. That's hilarious. Oh, let me try that. Yes, we did that one, and I don't see it. Nope, we're doing that one. There we go. Oh, yeah, I got a little banner there. Oh, that's cute. Media assets. Yeah, no, okay. Style and comments. All right. Invite guest. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. All right, brothers and sisters, this time for None you biz, Mike. It's time for me. What was I gonna say? It's time for me to hit it and get off the StreamYard. We give it a nice try. You got 38 years between, because the text. So after the golden calf, go lead the people. At the end of Exodus 32, and then he says in Exodus 33 starts, depart from me and take the people. I'm saying that there's 38 years in there, because so that's where the 38 years starts. It only lasts for 2 chapters, so it's a parenthetical within Exodus. It's a parenthetical that at 33 where it says depart, that's where we pick up Deuteronomy. Depart. It might be as late as 6 or something, chapter 6. It's too hard to explain, but just notice that at one point in the scripture, it does say, at the beginning of Deuteronomy, it says it's 11 days from Mount Horeb to Kadesh Barnea by way of Mount Seir. It's 11 days journey. And then it says, when I said rise up and get over the brook Zered, it took us 38 years to get from Kadesh Barnea to the brook Zered. Now the brook Zered is not the Jordan. The brook Zered is what comes after they go around Moab and Edom and Esau. They come up to Ar, that Arnon River or whatever. That's your brook Zered. After that is your two giants, because just prior to that, Aaron is dead in the 5th month, and the 12th month, Moses is giving the people their final law, their final added law. And he says, from Kadesh Barnea to when I said rise up and get over the brook Zered was 38 years. Kadesh Barnea was a year and a half after the exit. 38 years from Kadesh Barnea to getting over the brook Zered is 39 and a half years. These guys literally wandered after Kadesh Barnea and after the Korah rebellion. And then even after the Korah rebellion, the 250 princes, even after those guys were killed. Remember, the earth opened up, took all their possessions. Even after that, the people they took their censers and made broad plates on the side of the burnt offering altar, the brass altar. Remember, they made plates on the side of it with their censers after they were killed. Even after that, the people came to Moses complaining, murmuring, "You're killing us. Anybody that comes close to the tabernacle dies. What are you doing to us?" But don't forget that they were commanded, get ye way into the wilderness by way of the Red Sea. That's back south. They're going back south again along the Red Sea's way over there. They're coming back south again. And if you wanted to, you could continue on south. And as you're heading south, you're going around this Mount Seir over here. And he says, we compassed Mount Seir. Okay, so you're going to compass Mount Seir, but down here is Mount Sinai. And that's where the narrative ends. And then the narrative picks up. And God spoke to Moses and said, you have been circling this mountain, Mount Sinai, long enough, meaning they had gone around the entire peninsula, the Sinai Peninsula. You have compassed Mount Seir above, yes, because you're going to head, eventually you're going to have to head north. So as they came back around, he says, you've compassed this mountain long enough, turn and go north to the land of the giants. This is 39 years and a couple months later. I'd like some help figuring this out or some opposition to this, but no, you won't find it on the internet. You're lucky to find a chiastic structure of Deuteronomy that has an understanding. Like I say, go to the first 4 verses. Where's Moses? He's down south next to both times. The first 4 verses of Deuteronomy. Moses, he's east of the Jordan, down south by the Red Sea. It's 11 days journey to Kadesh Barnea by way of Mount Seir. And in the 40th year, Moses, east of the Jordan, just east of Jericho, way north of the Red Sea, began Moses to speak all these words. After he had killed Og, the king of Bashan, and where is he? Where is he? It's not where is he, it's they're telling you this book is about when he was here, and when he was here. It's just telling you the chiastic structure. It's just telling you how he's going to lay out the book for you. It's going to be 3 different this is going to be at Mount Sinai when he got the second set of the 10. This is going to be after Og and Sihon and the king of Sihon, I think. And then we're also going to tell you in the 40th year in the 11th month what Moses was telling these people. And if you understand that there's a progression of added, you'll understand in the New Testament what's taken away and now written on your heart. Jesus took away that added law. How do we do that added law now? Because one of them is don't do your sister. So we have to be doing it somehow. Oh, it's written on your heart. So that's the catch. The added law is written on your heart, not the covenant. The very, very, very first covenant turned to dust is a testament. The second covenant had an added law. So when you speak about the law or the covenant, you're talking about that second one anyway. Paul finally gets to the point and says in Romans, the testament, I think it's Hebrews, it's got to be Hebrews, and he doubles down on it because it's the way I'll just leave it at that. I just wanted to get this out here and test StreamYard and YouTube and how it hooks up, but it's the free version says it doesn't record, so we'll see. And then of course we have to test the mic. My goodness gracious, was my hand covering that microphone that whole time? Yeah, check. Roger. Okay, everybody, let's sing a song before we go. No, let's just go. All right, thank you all.